What's going on, guys? It's What Geek here again. Tonight I'm going to start a new series on Blender. I'm going to go over the ins and outs of the program as I understand them, which, trust me, is not a full understanding of the program, but I can at least get you a good start. I've been using Blender for about a year or so now, and I know enough to be dangerous, but I don't know everything that there is to know. So I'll learn some stuff, you'll learn some stuff, and it'll be good. So let's dive right in. So first of all, the splash screen. I wanted to go over this because a lot of people just click this away and they don't even really look at it. But there's some good information here and there's some quick links. The manual and the Blender website are both really good sources for you to learn things and figure things out. You can always read what's happening in the release or the latest release, credits, donations. This Python API reference, if you write Python at all, this will help you API into the Blender program. And then, of course, I really don't know what this interaction does, but it has 3ds Max and Maya in it. I don't use either of those, so I never touch this. You probably will never touch this. But these recent files are, well, exactly that, recent files. So Exatic is something I'm working on for my wife's YouTube page. She owns a consignment shop online and sells women's clothing, so she's starting a YouTube channel sometime in the near future, and I'm going to make an intro for her, so that's what that is. So these are just my recent files. Mushroom, I'm trying to work on my modeling and learn more about modeling, so I'm doing stuff like that. These are all the recent files that I've had open. If you click these, it's going to open whatever file you had. So that's pretty much that for the splash screen. The second big thing that you need to know, and the thing that I'm going to cover the most in this video, is I'm not really sure what they call these. I think they're just different windows. But if you see these three little bars right down here, they're all over the place. There's one here, there's one up here, there's one up here. These will duplicate a screen, basically, and then you can change these around so that I can make this the UV whatever, the node editor. I can do all kinds of stuff with this, so you can see how I can change my UI. The problem with this for a lot of people, and for me included, is that this starts to get really confusing, because you can have as many of these as you want until it just gets to a point where you're like, what do? I broke this. I don't know how to fix this. Help me. So that's what I want to cover tonight, because I remember when I first started Blender, this was one of the most difficult things for me to get past. This is easy to understand once you understand it. The rule of thumb is that you can only move one of these windows into another window of the same size. So if I want to get rid of this one, I'm going to grab the little three lines up here and drag it into the one on the right. It's going to give me this big arrow. But I can only do that because it's the same size. If I try to go down, it doesn't work because these are not the same size. So I'm going to drag this over here. But now that this is the same size as this, I can drag, well, I lied to you. And see, it gets even confusing for me. I can drag this one up. I can drag this one up. And I should be able to drag this one up, but it's not letting me. Oh, they're not the same size. And see, it even messes with me now, a year into it. I didn't even realize these were two different windows. I can drag this over, and then this up. And then if I drag this, nope, see, that's a new one. That's a new one. I gotta drag it to the right. That one, that one, that one, that one. And then I'll change this back to 3D view, and I'm back where I was when I started. So, I mean, even now, a year into this, it still can get confusing to me if I open a lot of these. Normally what I do, to be completely honest with you, is I will only open like maybe one extra thing. Like a lot of times I need my timeline and I need my node editor too, so I'll switch this to the node editor and then I'll pull another one of these up and change this to the timeline. And I'll do something like this. But it's very rare that you'll ever see me doing, you know, this crazy stuff. I might sometimes do this, very rarely. But, you know, you'll never see my screen look like this. Not yet. Maybe sometime in the future I'll need something like this, and that's fine. But for now, it just overcomplicates the situation for me. So as you can see, as long as these are the same size, then I can drag them back in, and it'll give me the arrow. I can drag them back into the next window that's the same size and close it out. So that's pretty much that. That's just really what I wanted to cover in this video. That way, you know, I like to give people a good foundation, and like I said, that was the most difficult thing for me starting out, was figuring out these weird windows and how to manipulate this and what to do when I get lost. And that's pretty much the in and out of it. Another thing is that every time you close Blender and open it back up, it's going to take you right back to your default layout. Now, if I recall correctly, let's see, let's open that mushroom again, and let's pull this out, and then save, and then close. Open it again. For my splash screen, I'm going to click mushroom. Yeah, it will save your layout on your files, but you really should, if you want to learn Blender. I mean, you can look at it right now. There's like 8 million buttons laying in front of us, and we haven't even changed menus. I haven't scrolled. I haven't went through any of this stuff over here. I haven't done any of this. I haven't changed to edit mode. I haven't done any of this. And there's already like 8 billion buttons for you to click on. So it's very important. If you really want to get into Blender, you need to download Blender and open it up and just play. Just learn how to move and how to move things and how to delete things and all this stuff. You need to start learning shortcuts. You need to start learning the ins and outs of manipulating this program. You don't have to worry about these buttons over here or any of this stuff until later on. But until you can, you know, do just normal stuff like this, or, you know, let's say that I want to look at what my screen is. I had to hit 0 on my numpad, and that's what that did. And then if I click and drag my middle mouse button and hold shift, it lets me move around like this, or I can rotate, which this is another thing. If you look right here, I'm rotating away from that. There's a preference in here, which I'll go over in the next couple of videos, that should rotate around selection, right? But the problem is I don't have anything selected. Or maybe I had the camera selected, but I thought I had the cube selected. So see, now I'm rotating around it. But there's a million things in this program for you to learn. And they're all really good things to learn, and this is a very powerful program. But if you don't take the time to learn how to manipulate this in the beginning, then you're not going to get very far in the program, because it's gonna frustrate you, especially with stuff like this. Another thing that's very frustrating for people is that I'm right clicking right now instead of left clicking to select these objects. Right click is the main function instead of left. Left sets my cursor, and you can control a lot of things with the cursor, but 9 times out of 10 you're not going to use it. You're always going to right click just to select stuff and move stuff around. So there's a lot to it, but we'll get there one way or another. And that's pretty much it for me tonight. I just wanted to cover that for you and give you a good starting place to play around and to learn things. And like I said, download Blender, open it up, move stuff around, learn how to left click and right click in Blender, learn how to select things, learn how to delete things, that kind of thing. Open some new windows and get yourself completely lost in a place where you can't get back out of it, and then just close Blender and open it back up, and everything will be back to normal. Definitely do that before you start seriously trying to take a project But yeah, that's about it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know how I'm doing, and we'll see you later. Have a good night.